Okay, we'll call the meeting of the Acton School Committee, January 29th, 2019. This is a school committee warrant and finance committee budget workshop, and we'll call it to order at this time. And we'll begin with a salute to the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Would you like me to take it from here?
Yes, go ahead with your expectations.
You bet. I just want to check on a sound check. Sharon Frey, I know you're online. Can you hear me okay?
Yes, I can.
Awesome. Okay, so we're working with audio. We'll start our meeting with our 6 strive statements for every one of our FY20 school budget meetings. I'd like to start with our norms, and then 6 strive statements are: we will strive to work together as a community that values the education of that our children receive at AES. We will strive to be fully present at the meetings by becoming familiar with materials and by being attentive. We will strive to invite and welcome the contributions of every member and listen to each other. We will strive to be involved to our individual level of comfort. Each of us is responsible for airing disagreements during the meeting rather than carrying those disagreements outside the meeting. We will strive to operate in a collegial and friendly atmosphere, and we will strive to be responsible for examining all points of view. What I would like to do is, I don't know how Kim set your books up, but I would like to start with Article 9, then move to Article 8, and then move to Article 3, for the reason being, Article 9 is very straightforward. We get a little more complex with Article 8, and then finally the special ed Article 3 is quite complex, has a lot of pieces that look different this year, and we have Sharon, so I'd like to take that one on last, because you'll probably have the most questions.
It should be.
Okay, so Article 9 would be student transportation contract. Has everybody found that one? It's only one page, it's only really one line.
Yep.
Okay, and a quick update, just to recall for anybody listening, is we have 3 budgeted years, and then we have last year's budget, the one that we're currently living in this year that's been approved, our budget projected for FY 19-20, and then a variance, and that variance is sometimes negative or positive. In this case, it's exactly the same. So we put in $297,000. Let me please note for the committee that the bus bids went out Friday. And Kim, can you give, is it the 20th that they're due back? Or the week of the 20th?
Monday the 25th, so the Monday after.
The Monday after break.
Yeah.
Monday the 25th, we will have our bids returned, and we'll see. So our expectation is that we'll have some bids on buses, and we'll develop another 3-year contract based within this budget cycle. Any questions at all about Article 9 before we move on? Okay.
We'll mention that we do have 3 bids that went out to at least 3 different vendors.
Correct. We did send out 3 vendors, and then of course we published it for anybody who are unaware of, and we'll see who bids this year. So Article 8, same setup with 2 budget years. This fiscal year that we're in, and it should say budget 8, Article 8, school administration. And instead of going through each line, just like I did in the last meeting, we'll take a look at what the variance is. That seems to be most helpful, and then any notes. So the first line is principal salary with a variance, a small variance of plus $750. The support staff salary, there's a variance of less 3,990. Of course, the substitutes for that particular position, as you can see in the notes, if our school secretary to use all of her sick days, this is what it would cost us to bring in a substitute for all of the sick days. The sub-caller stipend is new to this cost center because it moved from Article 7, which was central office. Kim had it. It moved from central office to school administration. So Amanda is our sub-caller moving forward, okay? So that's just been moved, it's not brand new. Then the stipend benefits are a variance of $85. It moved with the sub-caller, so that's new. Principal benefits, a variance of $20. Support benefits of variance, again, we're looking at a negative 2306. You're gonna see where some of these negatives come back, though. The group insurance is up 2,104 within the principal, and the support group insurance is up 10,990, and it says what it covers, but the reason why is our new employee in the front office takes different insurance than last year's front office employee, okay? Family versus taking a payout for not taking the insurance, that's your difference. Substitute benefits are down $74. Main PERS up $144, and contracted services up $50. If you turn the page with me for front office, software and maintenance is flat in the variance, it stays at $725. Telephone expenses for the school are flat, stays where it is, $3,600. Advertising for bus routes and screen dates is a new one. I'm going to assume that got moved for the chart of accounts? Because haven't we
No.
always advertised for that every fall?
We have.
Right.
And it was never really budgeted for.
Okay.
And it kind of went under supplies and stuff, but advertising needs to be pulled out
Needs to be broken
out
out.
of the supplies.
Very
So
good,
this
because
is
we,
why I see in there.
okay, very good. Printing services is flat at 100. Travel and conference is flat at 1,000. Supplies are down $300.
Again, you see the move.
Yeah. And dues and fees are down $500. And then again, you can take a look at your overall variance. It's always good to look at your total budget, your total variance, and then, of course, that's gonna be right in the middle.
So the minus 300 is the plus 300 up for the advertising, correct?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it just got moved. So you just pulled it out. Any questions in total then? Because I didn't hear any questions on any particular line item. Pretty straightforward stuff. I will say that when we look at Article 3, Sharon,
Yeah,
because the chart of accounts, as I described in last week's meeting, Sharon, Kim had quite a job to do last fall. She had to change around a lot of the way MDOE does the function, the code, the cost. They changed up they called it the chart of accounts. So Kim had to go back and rework some things. An example from last week would have been our maintenance director's salary was pulled out and would look different this year than it did in years past because Kim had to change the chart of accounts. I've noticed, Sharon, in this budget, there's several places that's happened.
yes, it has. Special ed, I think, was the most effective with
Yeah.
that.
So when you first look at it, it kind of looks like there's a lot of new stuff, but it's not. It's just been moved from somewhere else. And we also tried to maximize our grant funding as much as we could too.
Exactly.
Okay, so are you, I can't see you and I don't need to, but are you following us on this? Because I'm gonna get us into this and then I'm gonna ask the committee for questions on each one, and it's gonna be Kim and you that probably answer these questions.
Okay.
Okay,
So
very
you're
good.
You're starting with Ed Tech contracted services.
Article 3 on ours starts with student transportation K-8.
Okay, well, okay.
I want you to be able to follow us. Do we need a minute to make sure we're all on the same
No,
page?
Right there, K8.
Yeah.
It's my second one down, not my first.
Okay, so I'll lead us through and ask for questions. So student transportation K-8 has a variance in this case of minus $14,300. It's up to the committee just to ask for clarification. I'll just keep moving on. Okay. Student transportation 9 through 12, similarly, it has a variance of a negative of $6,025. Way over on the right, it says less 50,000 from grant.
Yeah, what does that mean?
So in other words, the local entitlement grant that we get about $100,000. And instead of using it for people, like we used to use it for extended school year and all this stuff, and it's just a waste of money in a way because it costs so much for
Yeah.
the payroll grant part. So we've worked at moving it over to where we split that money between out-of-district tuition and out-of-district transportation. So of this, you're seeing this 36,000, but really it's a lot higher than that. It's 86,000, but the money for the
Offset.
50,000 has already been offset in this grant. Okay?
And these are federal title grants.
And based on
Yeah.
previous years, has it always been higher than what? Has there always been a grant applied to it?
Well, we
Differently.
never, we hadn't used the grant money against transportation. So now we are. So, and transportation's one of these things that always depends on what we have
Where
for
you're going.
students
Yeah.
and
Right.
where they're going. So each year, it could just fluctuate just because of the student base.
Yeah, so last year's cost was actually the 42?
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
okay.
that was
And this
the
year,
actual-
it's actually up around 80 something?
Yes.
It's more than doubled, so we
Wow.
use the
Yeah,
grant to
yeah.
offset. Again, depending
Okay.
on where kids are going and who we are supporting. Okay, I'm gonna move on to teacher salaries resource room. It's one variance of about $5,500 for one teacher, and that's negative. Ed tech salaries resource room, again, a negative variance of 75. Ed tech salaries 9 through 12, quite a variance there at 49,755. When we hit tutors, it's actually, that's a new line. So was tutors one of the new chart of accounts? Did it get moved in? Because
No,
it's the first
tutors-
time we've seen it.
Okay, so tutoring used to be paid out of grants,
Okay.
and so was extended school year. So when last year, we budgeted extended school year in our operating budget, okay? So these negatives you're seeing here, the first two especially, those are to cover extended school year. So when you get to the end of this, you're gonna see a whole bunch.
It's gonna show up again for
It's gonna show up at the
positive.
bottom.
It's gonna show up
Okay,
positive.
because we had to have specific accounts specifically for extended school year.
Okay.
So extended school year is at the bottom of this article.
Yeah,
That's a bunch.
So we're just moving. And the thing with the ed techs at the high school level, we are having, again, changes because students are graduating. So we're gonna be moving them around in different departments. So the ed techs are gonna fluctuate depending on where we need them the most.
so substitutes for resource room, small variance of negative 488. And then we're into the benefits, and this is gonna be the standard, your narrative notations are gonna be the standard benefits paid and what they're including of $55 increase. Ed tech benefits, resource room, a change of positive 512. Ed tech benefits 9 through 12, a variance of negative 316. Teachers group insurance resource room, a variance of $103. Ed tech group insurance resource room, negative $1,100 variance. Ed tech group insurance 9 through 12, positive $3,394. I'm going to turn the page to the tutor benefits, which is a new line item at $237. And substitute benefits resource room, a variance of minus 52. And then we get into, I'm just going to look at the three main PERS, which are teachers, ed techs, and ed techs, each of those being a negative variance of 98,514, and then the third one is 2,568. I took those as a group.
Does
Travel.
that go back to the extended school year as well?
Yep.
Yes, okay.
Yeah.
Travel and conference is flat at 565. Supplies are down $500 of variance. Testing for resource room is flat at 400. Books and periodicals flat at 100. Equipment flat at 100. Okay, now we're going to see things go in the other direction. Teacher salaries, self-contained, positive 3,518. Ed tech salaries, self-contained, positive variance of 43,979. Substitute self-contained, positive 1987. Teacher benefit self-contained, positive $14. Ed tech benefits self-contained, positive $2,364. And teachers group insurance self-contained, positive $3,835. I'm gonna turn the page.
So is the
Yep.
self-contained, it's 4 separate special ed techs versus other ed techs? How many ed techs are there in special ed? I guess I need to know.
9.
9. And we've increased the number of ed techs we've had this year, which we didn't budget for last year.
Well, how many did we have last year?
7.
Seven,
We had 2 that we had to hire.
Okay, any further questions?
3. We had to hire 3. I'm sorry. We had to hire 3 this year.
Okay.
Okay, so I'm gonna turn to the top of your page, should say Ed Tech Group Insurance Self-Contained. And with that line, there's a variance of a positive 12,283. Substitute benefits for self-contained, positive $195. And then there are 2 main PERS, one for teachers, one for ed techs, at a positive 248 and a positive 1937.
Also keep in mind that main PERS is going up next
Yeah,
year.
yeah.
We went from 3.97 to
416.
4.16. Wow.
3.97?
Yeah, to 416. Is that what that little, right after that 16, there's a little arrow up I noticed, the way you printed, does that mean that that's because it's an
4.1.
increase?
4.16.
Is an increase over the 3.97?
I know.
There's just a
Upside
little,
I
down.
think it's supposed to be a percentage.
okay, is that what it's supposed to be?
Yeah,
Okay.
it looks like a little arrow.
It does, I was just curious.
It did go up, but I mean.
I'm not sure what it is, a little arrow pointing up,
Percentage.
that's what I thought it meant, I said, that's tricky. All right, travel and conferences would be your next line, is flat at 450. Supplies for self-contained flat at 1,000. Testing for self-contained flat at 400. Books and periodicals for self-contained flat at 1,000. Equipment for self-contained flat at 1,000. Here is where we get into, when we get into director's salary, benefits, and insurance. This is going to look a little different to you because Sharon comes to us as a retired person. Our former special ed director was not retired. So when you retire, you have certain caps on this and caps on that. So you're going to see some numbers in here, but when you look at her total numbers, she fits our cost center because we worked with her in agreement in a way to attract Sharon and her experience to the school department by kind of mixing some compensation up for her, part of it being retirement, part of it being salary. So that's why it looks so much different, because this is our first retired administrator who's working here. So if you take a look at the salary, you have a variance that's negative of almost $16,000, but the benefits have a positive variance of $9,444. And then if you keep going down, you'll just see that the insurance isn't there. There is a negative main PERS variance.
She snuck in. She's one of these people that I don't have to pay main PERS to because she's
drawing
retired.
it.
However, after, if you hire anybody after January, whether they're retired or
They
not,
pay in.
you have to pay in.
Yeah, she's the last of, Sharon, you're the last of your kind.
I'm the last cheap date, right?
Yeah, well, but it's only good for, I think, there was a sunset though. I think I got like 5-6 years and then I'll have to stop paying for her too, so.
No, I can only work 5 years.
No!
Yes. Unless you put me in at a different job.
I can do
Why?
it, we'll work on it.
Why is that?
We'll be needing an assistant director at some point, we'll let you know.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Once I call something else.
Right.
That's right, we'll just relabel it.
So staff, let me go back to main dress. Okay, so staff development is flat at $4,000. Contracted services, and it says Sanford High School, there's a variance of $22,825.
And that's because, again,
Had to
the
pull it
codes
out.
had to
Had to
change.
pull it
I
out.
had to put
Yep.
Sanford as a contracted service instead of tuition, because that really messed up our, the sped, what do we call those things where we have to do tuition and stuff?
The EFS 04,
Yeah,
the EFS report,
yeah,
oh, the EFS 02 part 2, yeah. That was all messed up because the way we reported, it had to be in the specific code. And it was very confusing, so we just changed things around to meet the requirements.
Okay.
I don't know if that explains.
no,
No, when we had to change the chart of accounts, it also changes in our reporting.
Yeah.
So sometimes
Exactly.
your hand gets forced that way.
Yeah.
So now I'm on tuition public, special education. A variance of minus $5,500 in tuition costs for outside education systems. And then our tuition public secondary education is a negative $17,500, but it's justified with Sanford High School move to contracted services.
Right.
Okay. Tuition out of district 9 through 12 is down almost $7,000 or $6,912
but it's really not.
because less grant of $50,000 far to the right, go all the way over.
Yeah.
So we're applying the grant differently.
So it's really 63 plus the 50?
13.
Yeah.
Yep.
Holy.
Right.
Yeah, gives you an idea.
63 plus what?
That's too much.
The 50,000
Oh, plus
grant.
50.
That's a lot.
Yeah, minus the 6.9, minus the 7. So 63 and 47.
Don't answer if, and stop me if I'm not allowed to ask, but do we know how many kids that covers?
Nope, you can't.
Can't ask, good.
How many
Right.
kids?
It covers
Yes, you
quite a
can.
few. Well,
Yeah.
You
It's
can ask
fine.
how many,
Yes.
but
I understand if it's
That's
one or
good.
two, you don't want to ask how many.
What I will say though, too, right, good
Because then-
point.
because
You
then
can single it
pinpoint
down.
who it is, but if
Right.
it's like 7 or 8,
Before-
or, I'm just curious how
Before
much
she
it
even
changed.
gives you an answer, one way to even put more wash on top of this is, not every kid is the same cost.
Right,
So we could say 6, and you don't have any idea how much each individual one, because you can't just divide 6 into that number.
yeah,
right.
Okay?
yeah.
Depends on
Is it
places.
Depends on
safer,
where you go.
is it safer to ask if there was a big increase from last year, or, there's no good way to really ask the question probably?
No.
no,
Okay.
it isn't really.
Alright,
Okay,
We don't
tuition,
want to know that anyway.
tuition out of district, okay, we covered that one. So we're in travel and conferences is flat at 800. Supplies is flat at 500. Dues and fees is flat at 800. Main state billing fee doesn't exist anymore. Psychological contracted services is a variance of $10,000. I didn't really get into this before, but we do have a new evaluator who we're very happy with.
Yes,
Very happy with.
very good. She's
And one of the
very
things she brings to this school that I had no idea when, I guess I should give Dell credit because I think he lined her up. Is that true? Did Dell? Who found Dr. Bickford? Was it you, Sharon?
I think it was Dell.
good. Yeah,
It was
She was
Dell.
already hired when
Okay.
I got this
Yep.
job.
I thought she was because I remember when that
She used to work at Margaret Murphy. And,
Correct.
So she went out on her own, and Dell connected with her. So she's a great addition to the school.
She really is, and what I discovered a happy coincidence after we signed the contract in July for her, just recently at a PBIS workshop that she was doing here, her name is as an author of some of the resources that we're using. I had no idea. Because I'm looking at the name Bickford and Red, and I'm like, I know who Red is, but who's Bickford? And I'm like, oh, are you the same Bickford? And sure enough. So she can help us out a ton in that area too, and she has been.
Yeah.
Right?
Speech contracted services is down $1,000 in our variance.
And again, the grant, we have a.
We've
prepaid
applied less,
grant.
1,000, okay? And then the next two, there is no maintenance for speech repairs, but speech supplies and occupational therapy are both flat, 1,000 and 37,000, nothing has changed. Okay, a lot of talking on this one. This last page, folks. OT supplies is flat. Physical therapy, this is a new line. Well, we haven't had physical therapy here for a while, I'll just say that, I won't get into it. Physical therapy is up $4,500. Physical therapy supplies is up $1,000. Teacher ESY, here's where Kim was talking earlier, teacher salaries, ESY is up $2,400.
And ESY is extended school year.
So these are our new categories.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then our ed tech extended school year salaries is up $1,400. And then the two benefits that go with those, that would be teacher and ed tech benefits are up $108 and $63. And then the main PERS on both of those is up $100 and up $58 for both teachers first and ed tech second. Then our supplies for extended school year, $500. Our summer school transportation, it's a variance of $2,000. Then you can take a look at where you are going left or right. And if you look at your variance in the middle, you can see the differences from last year overall, this year overall, and it'll give you the bigger picture. Although there was a lot of big numbers there, the big numbers kind of offset themselves later, so we're really looking at a difference of just under $5,000. So just under $5,000. That's special ed is a pretty good chunk of our budget.
But we know for a fact we're gonna get the local allocation grant?
I asked the same question.
Yeah.
Because I tell you, I'm like, we're basing a budget on it.
Right,
Every
but where
school
did
does,
we
right.
used to use it on personnel.
Used
So,
to, in the past, it was used to cover ed tech salaries. A person's salary, which we don't know.
but I thought they said you should never do that.
No,
You know,
It's
put
not
it towards a person.
It's not a good way to
It's
spend
not a good way.
IDEA funds, because you have to, when you use federal funds, you have to spend more on their
Benefits.
benefits.
Yeah.
Like you have to spend a higher percentage on their, like, FICA and things like that.
The main PERS, when you ever pay employees with grant money, not only do you pay the matching main PERS of .0397, or which will now go up to .0416, you also have to pay a grant fee of 11.68% on top of that. So you take salary. So this is why in the last few years I've been trying to get away from using employees altogether and moving the grant and using it for contracted services or tuition,
Transportation.
because one, the bills go through faster.
Yeah.
Because I can start billing for tuition and transportation at the beginning of the school year. And then, and there isn't as much paperwork, because you basically just have the invoice. When you're dealing with employees, you have to deal with all their benefits, you have to reflect everything, and it's a lot more paperwork.
I
And
know, but
because we get
say
paid
last
people-
year or 2 years ago, we had 100,000 also go into this budget, even though it might have been people, correct?
Yeah.
It didn't, weren't people in other, what are the cost centers?
No, they would.
It was always special ed.
Yeah, it was always special ed. Yeah, you can't use it for anything else but
Right.
special ed, so.
Title funding. Overall, at the end of the day, though, there's a negative variance of $5,000. So it's actually down this next year, our projected,
For the whole special ed line.
for the entire article, right? Right. So our special ed costs actually went, up, whatever that percent is probably right on there.
So we'll be saving the 11 point whatever percent that you would have been paying.
Right.
Wow.
We actually did we put it as a percentage? It's not 12. No, we did percentages on both columns except for the variance. So we have a numerical value of negative 4551. So we only have a week off, which is next Tuesday, and we're back together again on the 12th. So while we're still in session, I have a few decisions that you need to make. I think I know the answers, but it's up to you. So we have a school committee meeting and we have a budget meeting.
Yeah.
I would assume you're going to want to do the school committee meeting starting at 5 like usual.
Yep.
and then we'll go into the budget meeting at 6.
Yeah.
In the case that we go into an executive session to recess to go over some items that'll be important for that night as well to move forward, and we didn't come out of executive session by 6, we would recess executive session, go into budget, go back into executive session and finish our work, and then come out of the school committee meeting?
That's what we talked about.
Yeah. I'm just saying
We
if we
might
took,
finish it, though.
well,
Say we do our
if-
meeting, and we
right.
got 15 minutes to go into executive session before 6 o'clock.
Yeah,
Why wouldn't we finish?
Yeah. we
Then go
probably
right
will.
into the budget.
okay, but if we ran over 6 o'clock, you're okay with waiting, say we went
Oh, yeah.
25 minutes or 40 minutes?
yeah.
Start the budget meeting when we're done with the executive session. Don't try to honor the 6 o'clock start time for budget, because we'll probably be done, we'll probably have time on our hands, and we'll be waiting for 6 o'clock.
That's what we were saying, so.
But if, just in case if we didn't, I want you to think through your order of operations, because I'm gonna develop the agenda based on the decision you make tonight. So we'll put out an agenda for our regular business for 5 PM
5 PM.
with an executive session, followed by a 6 PM budget meeting.
Yep.
And we'll look at some
Well,
articles
why
then too.
just put followed by rather than followed 6
Because
PM?
there's
Just to
another
make sure-
Because we
committee.
have an invitation to
Just to
them?
make
Yeah,
sure
it's
that these
another
people are
committee.
invited at a specific time,
Yeah.
you know, to honor them. Yeah,
Approximate 6 o'clock.
right, okay.
I
Okay,
know,
I just
I
wanna make sure
know,
that's what
I
was the
know,
wishes of the school
I
committee.
know.
Okay, okay. Then that's what, I think that takes care of our business for this evening.
Okay, see ya. Oh, do you need a motion? No.
No?
Anybody got any questions or?
Answers?
Straightforward.
Yep.
No
Very
answers?
straightforward.
We won't know transportation for 3 to 4 weeks, 4 weeks.
Well, February 25th, right?
Yeah.
You know, but we will have an answer before we ever go back, we go to the town, so.
Oh, yeah,
Right.
We
April
should have,
2nd.
and
Yeah.
I did get a thing from the DOE that says our EPS, I should be able to have EPS numbers by February 15th.
That would be good, because
That'd be
that'd be
not
a
only
first time.
good, that would be
forever.
amazing.
push
February's the law, but I don't know if they usually hit it.
Amazing.
No, the thing went out today. that
Awesome.
They said that they had one little computer glitch, they've got it figured out, they figured by, they were gonna have the numbers done by the 8th and then post everything by the 15th, so.
So they'll actually have that form out that's gonna be complete, or is it gonna be an estimate?
Well, it always starts out as an.
It's always an estimate, because there's some
It's always an
politics that have to
estimate, but I
happen,
mean,
right?
pretty much that will give us our number, so we,
Give us a pretty
269,
ballpark, yeah.
yeah, it's been, you know, pretty close,
Okay.
pretty much every time they do it, so.
So as Kim has, as you can imagine, we're looking at expenses, but we're also looking at what our possible revenue might be. And we're way off from right now to even predict what the end game might be, because we still have to continue this process. But when we get closer to the end and prior to warrant and finance looking at the entire budget, we will know pretty much where we are year to year.
And we'll do another pie chart, and we'll do comparisons too. so.
We'll do all that at the end, and then we'll have to put together our budget booklet and the letter to the town and the work that Judy and I usually do moving forward. But our end game is to have is gonna be April 2nd. Okay? Anything else?
Motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
There you go. Thanks, everybody.
All right.
Thank you.
Thanks, Sharon. Nice to chat with you.
Thank